Hey there and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something pretty wild, an ancient and frankly paradoxical tool for the mind. It's a way to find clarity not by finding answers, but by embracing a question you can never, ever solve. So let's just jump right in with a question that I think pretty much every single one of us has asked ourselves. In a world that is just buzzing with noise and distraction, how do you actually find some inner quiet? How do you get focused? Now, you might be expecting me to say, a breathing exercise or mantra, but the method we're exploring today is so much more counterintuitive. It's a mental tool designed to work in a way that seems to defy all logic. And this right here is the absolute heart of it. The entire practice revolves around engaging with a question that has no logical solution. It is not a riddle, it's a tool, and it's designed to do something else to your mind entirely. So let's find out what. To really get why you'd need such a strange tool, we first have to understand the journey itself. According to Zen masters, the path to mental clarity isn't some peaceful stroll in the park. Oh no, it's a difficult journey, and it's absolutely filled with obstacles. The source texts call these obstacles demons. Now, not literal demons, of course, but powerful forces inside our own heads. They can be obvious, like fear and distraction, or they can be incredibly subtle, like a feeling of false comfort or complacency that makes you stop just short of your goal. They're basically traps designed to keep your mind stuck. So, how do you overcome these internal demons? This is where that mystical tool comes in. It's a very specific kind of unsolvable question, known in Korean Zen as a Hwadu. This is a classic example of a Hwadu. Now, Shakyamuni, that's the historical Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, and Maitreya is the future Buddha. So to say that these ultimate figures are servants to someone else, well, it makes zero logical sense. And that is exactly the point. Now, what's so interesting here is how it defines the Hwadu's purpose. It's not about finding an answer. It's about cultivating something called great doubt. This isn't doubt in the sense of skepticism, but a profound, all-consuming sense of just not knowing. So, the crucial thing is how you engage with it. Your intellectual mind will immediately try to break it down, right? It'll ask why or whose servants. But that's the trap. The real practice is to hold the entire statement, Shakyamuni and Maitreya are also someone else's servants, as a single, impenetrable block of doubt. It's all about the feeling, not the analysis. The source material describes the feeling this practice is supposed to create in a really visceral, physical way. This isn't some gentle intellectual curiosity. It's something much, much more urgent and uncomfortable. And this just illustrates the sensation perfectly. Imagine having a spiky chestnut burr lodged in your throat. You can't swallow it, you can't spit it out, you absolutely cannot ignore it. It is a constant, irritating, all-consuming presence. That is the feeling of great doubt. So how does this actually work? Well, you start by holding the Hwadu. You allow that feeling of not knowing, that burr in the throat, to just grow and grow until it becomes the single point of focus, pushing out all the other thoughts, fears, and distractions. You stop focusing on the words, and you merge with the raw feeling of the doubt. But this is a powerful practice. And like any great journey, this path has its own set of unique and really subtle traps. It is not as simple as just sitting with the question. It's so easy to get sidetracked. A practitioner might fall into this really pleasant, empty state and mistake it for the goal, or start analyzing their own progress. But the source texts are clear. These are not failures, they're expected obstacles. And this is exactly why a qualified guide, a songjisik, is considered essential, to point out these errors and keep you on the right path. So what happens when this all-consuming doubt, this chestnut burr, reaches its absolute peak? Well, now we've arrived at the climax of this difficult journey, the breakthrough. It's so important to say this again. After all this effort, you do not arrive at a clever answer like, oh, they are servants to the truth. The entire process is designed to completely bypass and exhaust the analytical mind, not to satisfy it. The goal is this. The intense pressure of the doubt builds and builds until it shatters what the source calls the thick mental wall of our ordinary conditioned thinking. It's a breakthrough, not a conclusion. This slide shows the transformation perfectly. On one side, the mind is struggling. It's blocked. The doubt is painful. But after the wall shatters, the sources say those obstructions just melt away like ice, and a bright sun of clarity appears. It's a complete shift from struggling to this effortless, direct understanding. And this isn't a gradual realization. It's described as a sudden, explosive event, an experience that fundamentally changes your perception of reality. You don't think your way to it, you break your way into it. And so we end right where we began, with a question. This Zen practice suggests that the most profound states of mind aren't reached by accumulating more knowledge or finding the right answers, but by having the courage to fully inhabit the state of not knowing. If the goal isn't an answer, then perhaps the goal is the freedom that comes from no longer needing one.